Well, Senator Lindsey Graham is out of the race for president now. Graham is a Republican from South Carolina. He made the announcement to supporters with this video today on YouTube. Graham says while he is suspending his campaign, he is not suspending his desire to help the country.
Now, if you've seen the polls, it's no surprise Graham is bowing out. He's pretty low, at less than 3%.
Exactly. So what is surprising is how many are still in the race with the Republicans, so little support, including our own John Kasich. But our political analyst, Dr. Jason Johnson, is here tonight. And Jason, how long before these people with, a couple of percentage points get out and really lose their funding is the key?
Well, that's what's surprising about Lindsey Graham. I mean, he wasn't spending much and he wasn't earning much, and I'm surprised that he actually dropped out this soon. A lot of campaigns, even those lower tier people, even Pataki and even Rick Santorum, they have been promising their donors, I'll at least take it to Iowa. So it's surprising that he was able to come out and say, look, I'm not even going to try to give it to Iowa, because that means all of his volunteers and all the people who gave him money really feel like they wasted their time.
They have, what, 6, 7 debates left? I mean, do you forecast that they'll get to maybe March before you really start seeing people bail?
No, I think you're going to see people bail after South Carolina. I think after South Carolina, depending on who jumps up, this race will be down to 5, maybe 6 people. Christie, Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, Donald Trump, those will be the guys who are going to stay in. They've got the money to fight all the way towards Super Tuesday.
And Rubio really a strong number 3 in a lot of the polls going into these early voting states. How about Christie, though? All of a sudden a little surge in New Hampshire.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to surge because people know him in New Hampshire. And Denise, look, everybody likes Christie. He's Tony Soprano. He's creative and everything else like that. He's never going to get elected. He's got no chance. But he's entertaining. And I think that's one of the reasons people are paying attention.
Why do you say that?
Well, one, he's overweight. And that sounds shallow, but it's true. Americans are very, very, very particular about the aesthetics of their presidents. We don't vote for people with facial hair. We tell everyone to dye their clothing, to make their hair look nice, not show gray. And Christie's weight, and he has acknowledged this, has always been a problem with him connecting with voters.
Quick question about Trump. I was reading something, way more than I do, but going back to the Nixon days, nobody with a lead this big in December has ever lost the nomination.
Yeah.
Does that make Trump a lock?
No, that makes Trump happy. I mean, to the degree that he ever reads history, I'm sure he's going to be really thrilled. Look, these races have a tendency, I've been saying this all along, they flip. I always say you got to look, it's just like football. You got to look at the team that's at 500 halfway through the season that gets hot at the end. I always look at 3rd, 4th, 5th place. People like Jeb Bush and Marco Rubio who've been strong 3rd through 5th place. Those are the people who tend to make jumps after Iowa. I'm not saying Trump is done. I'm saying it's not a lock that he's going to win this nomination.
Yeah, a lot of times the front runner leading into these early states ends up at the end of the pack.
Exactly. And they're shocked, and someone else takes that momentum and runs all the way through.
How about Cruz? Could he make any mistakes that would put him back in the back? Because Rubio's nipping at his heels still, really.
Right. I don't, honestly, Denise, I don't think Ted Cruz is going to make any mistakes. I think there's going to be an issue of, at some point, the voters, Republican voters, are going to say, who do I think can win this thing? And if you remember in 2012, you had 3 different winners for the first 3 primary states that had never happened before. That may happen now. I don't think you're going to have people coalescing. So I think Ted Cruz, maybe he wins in Iowa. Maybe Trump wins in New Hampshire. Maybe Rubio pulls off something special in South Carolina. We could have a long, competitive fight here for a while, so mistakes aren't going to hurt you that much.
As some of these GOP candidates stick around, even when they're not polling well, any chance some of them are doing this because they're looking at other positions, they're thinking of the cabinet, they're just trying to position themselves?
It's funny. That's the conventional wisdom, but it almost never works that way. Honestly, it's like the people, it's like, oh yeah, this person is clearly just running for vice president, but do they get picked? Almost never. And so I think many of these people are running because they owe it to people. If someone is giving you hundreds of thousands of dollars, if there's a group of 22-year-old kids who've been working on your campaign for weeks, you owe it to them to take this through until it is financially impossible. So I think that's why a lot of them are doing it.
All right, Dr. Johnson, thanks for being with us tonight.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.